Good afternoon and welcome to Markets Today. My name is Mbithe Mwema. It's one trading day before the end of the week. You know, it's almost Friday, we are getting excited. But also the NSE is getting very excited as we go into the week. What do we have lined up for you here from Markets Today? First and foremost, I will be giving you an overview of what was happening on the equities, that's the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Thereafter, I'll give you an overview of what is happening when it comes to inflation. The numbers came out earlier in the week. We will be giving you a chart profile of what's happening with these numbers. After that, when we take a break, we will be looking at global markets, understanding what is happening there, and comparing Kenya to the global markets. With us in studio, we will be joined by Mr. Nahashan Mungai, who is an executive director at Standard Investment Bank, as well as the lead for the team that brings you the product Mansarex. What's happening in the global markets, what to expect, something that we will discuss later on. Now, first, let me take you through the NSE and what is happening. Let's take a look at the charts which are brought to you courtesy of Harvest. Our graphics team will be putting that up right now. But we saw a lot of vibrancy in terms of the NSE yesterday. The all share was up 0.74 percentage points to 141 for the day. We also saw a bit of an uptick there for the NSE 20 as well as the NSE 25 share index. Let's see the top movers for the day. We actually saw the market up almost over 300 percentage points on a day-to-day basis. What was the driver there? Safaricom. 25.8 million shares traded over the day. 25 million shares, that's what was driving market volume yesterday, was also the key driver for the NSE indices performance that we have just looked at. This share is now trading at 30 shillings per share. We thought that we'd see a bit of profit taking at this point, especially recalling the fact that the share went ex-dividend on 31st of August, which was Monday this week. This notwithstanding, we continue to see the foreign investors coming back into the market. Now, you know, we always say August is a summertime for the foreign investors. They had taken a break, but it looks like they came back with a big bang. These investors were 82% of purchases yesterday. The purchases were largely in Safaricom, and this has been the case throughout the week. We are seeing them taking a net buying position. And what this tells us is that the sentiment is turning slightly positive when it comes to the NSE. It's not all positive for all the stocks on the NSE. It really just tends to be positive for the telecom companies as well as the banking group. BK Group was the second traded. 3 million shares were traded there. Equity Group Holdings, 2.8 million shares traded. Uchumi, we had a big mover there, 2.3 million shares. And Kengen, 1.6 million shares traded over the day. Kengen finally got the new Auditor General to sign off on their financials, and based on that sign off earlier this week, then the management and the board actually approved a 0.25 shilling per share dividend to be paid out. The dividend expectation had already been priced in the market, and what the market was waiting to confirm was the amount. So that's 0.25 has been paid out, will be paid out for Kengen shareholders. It translates to about 4.2 percentage points in terms of the dividend yield for this particular stock. Let's take a look at the top gainers for the day. Top gainers, we have the small companies taking up the four there. EGET 9.52, WPP Scan Group up 9 percentage points to 7, started off the week at 6. This is the stock that we will be taking a deep dive and looking out for tomorrow on Ask Mbithe. Now on Fridays, we take it down a notch and we start talking about different companies and help you understand the investment case. Tomorrow, it's all about Scan Group, so keep it here. And I hope you can tell a friend to join us for the show tomorrow as we take a deep dive on WPP Scan Group to see if there's more upside from this level of 7 shillings. Then we have Nairobi Business there. Before Nairobi Business, we have the Nairobi Securities Exchange there, up 6 percentage points to 8.28. Company did release its results, 386 percentage points up for the first half year. These were very, very good numbers, but they were largely driven by the fact that this company cut back on some of its operational expenses. It also incurred a one-off operational expense for the previous year. Will this recur for the second half year? Talk to us tomorrow. We will be here to elaborate on that. Express Kenya up 3.56 percentage points to 4.66. Who are the top losers? Again, charts and data that is brought to us courtesy of our Harvest team. Harvest is part of the subsidiaries of the Metropole Group. If you're looking for data, certainly this is a company that you want to engage with. Top losers of the day, Flame Tree Group down 1.41 percentage points to 1.4 shillings. Sanlam Kenya down minus 2.75 percentage points, 12.4. It did release its half-year results in the last week and the numbers were slightly down. Uchumi also there has been on the red this entire week. Total Kenya again in the red. It released its numbers yesterday. We talked about the numbers review yesterday. The earnings are down and it actually reported lower earnings, largely because of COVID. When COVID-19 happened, borders were closed. You couldn't get content into the Kenyan market. Demand was also going lower. And also remember, there was a time that oil actually went to minus $37 per barrel. So this negative or lower price points were actually adverse for the operating environment for Total in terms of their top line. Kapchura Tea down 8 percentage points to 78 shillings. Now let's take a look at what's happening at a macro level. We have our inflation data that came out in the week and our graphics team will be putting this data set up for us. We have the line chart that's just charting inflation. We are waiting for our graphics team to put that up for us. So we are waiting for that. Inflation was just, it remained flat, 4.36 percentage points. I think I'm waiting for the graphics team to put it up, then you should be able to see it. So nothing much has happened. It remained range bound. And I think the key thing that people were worried about when it comes to inflation for this year was the onset of the locust that was coming in from the North Africa into Kenya, and there was a bit of antsiness in terms of expecting that the worst could happen when it comes to food productivity. That has not been the case. It looks like locust has actually taken another tangent in terms of not having an adverse impact on our food productivity. That was the key pointer when we're looking at inflation. Our chart is coming back up again just to expound on that. We sort of have inflation at 4.36. Okay, I think you can see it on your screen. You can see inflation at 4.36. No key risk factors between now and the end of the year to look out for. I guess we wait to see the short rains when they come in the month of October and how this will have an impact in terms of maize productivity. That's pretty much what we wanted to cover in our first segment today. I always also want to add the Ask Mbithe segment, but I cannot hear your voice. I need to be able to hear your voice. Ask me a question or two, anything to do with investments, because I want to be able to allocate at least 5 minutes of this part of this show to you to answer your questions. We take a short break. When we come back, what's happening in the global markets? What are the opportunities? Should you take your money to US? Should you keep your money here? We will be talking about the Mansa X product. This is a product that reported a number of 16% in terms of growth. That's 16% in the second quarter. And this is in a quarter that was quite tumultuous in terms of what was happening globally and locally. How was this particular team able to deliver these stellar numbers? Can they still continue with this performance? And how can you be part and parcel of this particular product? We will be joined by Mr. Nahashan Mungai. He is an executive director at SIB and also the lead for the Mansa X product. See you after the break.